Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Rigucci, and here with a few friends in the Delaware County area. We get in a basement, we talk about a certain topic. Today's topic is going to be the Game Awards 2023. Here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
I forgot my flute gooch, but I'm excited to talk about
Are you rivaling Flute Guy from the Game Awards? I would love
to. He gives me major Ron Burgundy energy when that's
he's
great.
Wild.
It's insanity.
Like, did you watch?
I totally missed the whole joke, by the way, until after. I didn't notice him with the huge flute in the moment.
I don't think it's a joke more than the fact that people noticed him going wild.
No,
last year.
No, but I know. Then they kind of leaned into it this year. But I missed the joke of him switching to the huge.
Oh, the huge flute.
I don't know. I must have been
did you look at the rest of the band and how normal they were acting?
Oh yeah, and he's sitting there. I did notice him at that point.
He's going hard as shit.
Yeah.
But yep, that is why we are here to discuss the Game Awards 2023 from the December the 7th, 2020.
A holy day, if you will.
Definitely a holy day. Next year is on the 12th. It's the week later.
Which is good. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
These on the birthday are nice.
Happy birthday, Trio.
Oh,
Same,
thank you.
shares a birthday with the Game Awards this year.
Yeah.
28, not 9.
28.
28, yeah.
Getting close to 30. We're close. You're close
night.
there too. Yeah, we did. We went to Giorgio's on Pine. Would highly recommend in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Giorgio, I believe himself, was there, and he was.
Do you think his name was Giorgio?
He was the owner, so I don't know. I'd hope that his name was Giorgio. But yeah, no, very good stuff. Gooch, I'm happy you could make it. It was a fantastic time, and I'm ready to talk about some Game Awards.
Yeah, but first, we already have been talking about what we're up to. But let's. I had this last week. We're going to talk about where we're up to. I kind of cut myself off this mid-sentence.
Okay. We're getting there. It's Saturday. We don't record these on Saturdays.
No, it is Saturday.
This is weird.
And I am drinking
it's 6:30 at night.
Arnold Palmer spiked seltzer.
Arnie Palmy. I just got some tea right now, Arizona.
Yeah. Well,
it's not an Arnie Palmy. It's a lemon.
We're in the.
We're close. This is
close.
This is a lemon flavored iced tea. Yeah. That is a half iced tea, half lemonade. So
quarter
with
alcohol,
some spiked
likely.
with alcohol. Yeah.
Anyway, I've done it, Trio.
You have.
I have ended my GameStop Power Up Rewards card. I'm done.
Rest in peace.
I decided that this was a last year. This was a last month decision I forgot to talk about, but there's no point in me having it anymore.
I mean, how often are you buying
physical Game Informer? They don't have it anymore. I don't go there to buy games. I go to Best Buy for the most part now.
I will say the one thing I do like about it, I got it the year I bought my PS4, and I think it's rolled over because it's $10. You do get a $5 off coupon every month, which is kind of nice for
a used game?
No, new game. I would use it. I bought a few games with it this year. Which is I think that's actually kind of
I still got
worth
my points. It's not like they're gone.
Oh no, for sure. And you can get some free stuff. There were some cool things on there, but you need an ungodly amount of points to get $15 off or something like that.
$15 a month or a year. I could, I'm saving now.
No, for sure. And so if you're not going there that often, what's the point?
Yeah, I wanted to show my
distaste.
Yes, my disdain for GameStop's current status. But speaking of games, we've both been playing Phantom Liberty finally. So I kept the promise of saying, hey, I wanted to start Phantom Liberty before we got to the Game Awards, and I have done that. So I'll be able to talk about it probably as we get to the awards.
No, absolutely. I started
I'm liking
up the same. Yeah, dude. It's funny. I got a little into it. I told you I ended up just being like, you know what? I do want to dive into this fully. I started a whole new save. I've been working through that way. And I definitely have been noticing some of the change, which, like you said, we'll get into more later. But yeah, I've been enjoying it too.
Yeah, what I ended up doing was, so I got in and I pretty much, obviously respect, and I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And I looked up a build online and kind of just went with something. I'm doing a pistol sword build, which is really fun.
Yeah, swords are good. I've been using a sword too.
Yeah. I'm really having a lot of fun. I had fun with it. Yeah. But it does kind of suck that they did that. Great that they improved the game so much that it won a Game Award this year. But sucks that it's jumping back in is really overwhelming. I spent not 8 hours. I spent 5 or 6 hours
reacclimating.
Yes, yeah. And I'm all right, I'm gonna get the Edge Runner stuff. I want to do that, and I'm yada yada yada. And then I started the Dogtown stuff, but I felt like that was necessary.
Dude, then that's why I jumped right into it, and I was I just wasn't getting in a good rhythm for Phantom Liberty, and that's why I was you know what? I wanted that. I wanted something to wean me back in. So I do think it sucks, but restarting the game does really seem to be the optimal way for me, at least so far. But I haven't gotten to the actual thing. It's a mid game credit or a mid game.
I was just gonna say it's not epilogue-y. It just kind of When does it actually unlock?
It's like right after you complete like the Voodoo Boys stuff. I believe.
Yeah. Okay. It's that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, apparently, supposedly it does affect the main quest as well.
Yes, it does affect the endings.
I don't know. I was like, you know what? I want to restart this. It's been a lot of fun. The driving is hella improved.
Are we going to review it?
We haven't talked about it. I mean, I kind of assumed we would at some point.
It'll be a 2024
It'll be a late
thing.
one, yeah. But no, I mean, I kind of assumed we would at some point.
Okay, yeah, we haven't talked about it.
It's a bit of a ways away since we're both getting to it finally. I mean, there was just so much.
Yeah, and we've been doing a lot, but that's
absolutely
after the 17th when we're done our last re3 recording. We'll be very back to normal. Yeah. We're not doing any re3s or rewind reviews for a little bit. Actually, that's not necessarily true, but
we already announced
the Dune. Yeah,
I think we said the Dune one a while ago. Yeah, the original Fincher Dune.
Dune, yeah, and
that's in preparation for regular Dune.
And
Dune 2.
I'm not gonna unless you want to get a guess for that. It'll be probably just us two.
No one really springs to mind. So know. But I think that one will be very interesting. I've watched an hour of it before, and it's one of the slowest goddamn movies on earth. So. But it looks good. Either way, that should be a lot of fun. What else, Gooch? What else have you been up to?
I am finally on the final stretches of Stardew Valley.
Oh.
I have crafted every item. I've shipped all of the 15 shippable things that you can ship, the produce.
Right.
I am doing the mini game achievements, and I have to make I think it's either 1 million, or it's 100 million gold, and then I have 2 other achievements to get, and I'm done.
Okay.
But I am
you're approaching. It's fast approaching.
I am pedal to the metal, not pedal to the metal, but I am actively trying to get that game off. So
you have been chipping away at that for a while.
Yeah. It's been on my It's funny because I don't mind it, and I kind of play it sparsely and in between things, and I'm not I'm not dedicating a ton of time to it, but I'm slowly nicking away. But
it's a very calming game, I feel, for sure.
Yeah, it's funny, I'm not sick of it, but I am just kind of okay, how do I maximize profit now? Now that's where I'm at.
You have become a true capitalist.
Yeah. A capitalist of the what's it called, Pelican Town. Movies. I saw Killers of the Flower Moon.
Right.
I don't think
we didn't talk about it. No, I don't think. What'd you think?
So. Before I went in, I was at a Halloween party, and actually, so I think the movie just came out that week or the week before.
It was that week before, I think.
And they were very depressing, very long.
Yeah.
And I'm okay, I knew that, but they were kind of saying almost don't go to the theater to see it. And I'm okay, fair. And me and Luke Kenny, friend of the show, we went to go see it on a Sunday. It's definitely a movie you have to go see in the afternoon because we went to see a 1:20 show. We got out at fucking 5.
Yeah.
It's
now they do a half hour of fucking trailers before too.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was good. And it's funny, Leo and De Niro are not my favorites at all. They're pretty they're shitty characters.
Sure.
So it's hard to like them in the movie. And their roles are fine, but I think I forget her name off the top of my head. I think her name's Molly. The main Osage female character.
Native American woman, yeah.
Yeah, she is great.
I heard she's great, yeah.
But it is a movie that is just steadily depressing as you go. It never lets up. And I think it's on Prime now.
Oh,
so you
really?
can stream it.
Maybe I will stream it. Yeah.
I would kind of.
Did you see The Irishman?
Yeah,
I never did.
Yeah, I would prepare for it.
All right.
But not good movie. Definitely not a favorite. When we get to D&N's, I don't think it's gonna be in the top.
So do you can just stream it on Amazon right now? You don't have to pay for it?
No, I think you had to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I saw an ad
because I thought it was I think that's an Apple production actually.
It is.
Yeah.
Which I found weird. Luke was when he saw that, he was like, "What the fuck is?"
Dude,
that?
they've been making they've been doing pretty good on the TV realm apparently. A lot of people love their shows, and they
Silo and Foundation are two things I've heard a lot of.
And they seem to finish. I think we talked about this before. Even if the show's not necessarily doing amazing, they finish it. That Jason Momoa whatever show where everyone's blind. I was oh wow, they're actually just doing a final season. They're not just gonna end it on season 2, and because that's how so many Netflix shows have ended like that. But it's interesting to see.
And I am fresh out of Godzilla -1.
Right,
that is my favorite movie of the year.
I love to hear it, man. I gotta see it.
Just not caught me off guard, but like I was just so surprised.
You weren't expecting it, yeah.
You know, Japanese made Godzilla film, apparently $15 million budget.
Yeah.
Like American producers, you guys should be taking some fucking notes. You can make a pretty good movie without blowing your budget. They don't want to take
the notes though. That's the problem. Like all this stuff is so like I'm sure Godzilla, they had a thought out movie when they went in. They had their storyboards ready to go. All the CGI was pre-planned out. They didn't need to fucking do things 8 times. Yeah, that's how you make a great movie.
And the story is great. This could not have been made by any American. Like very uniquely Japanese sort of perspective. I don't want to say. I don't want to spoil any of it.
I know it's like set after World War II, right?
Yes.
And it's like
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I knew that. Movie. And then like it's like -1 is reference to like their DEF CON type thing, right?
So I actually Googled it. Like I was talking to my dad. I saw it with my dad, and like on the car ride here when I got back, and I was like, "What's -1?" It's the idea that like the Japanese after World War II started from ground zero,
and then that
Godzilla coming into the picture brings them down,
even down further.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool.
No, it's interesting.
Like that's really interesting.
I
I do like the title, and I'm really glad I saw it. I'm glad my dad was like, "Hey, like, do you want to see this?" And I'm like, no, but like actually no, I do want to see this.
I mean, I'm not promising anything to anyone, but who knows, if I get to see it, maybe we can squeeze in a review somewhere. That might be fun.
I'm definitely hyped to talk about in the DNNs. I texted Luke on the way home, like, see that movie. Like, so
what
did
he think of Flower Moon?
I think he was like the same place with me. I don't think we like came back to talk about it. I'm sure he's cooked on it for a little while.
Sure, yeah. I wonder where it falls on a scale. We'll have to ask him next time we see him.
But what are you watching, playing?
So I just finished Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways.
Okay.
With Ada.
Yeah. Miss Wong.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
If it's not Wong, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. I thought it was really good. I mean, that game's fantastic. They did a great job with it. It plays well, and the story's fun. And Ada, I will say, her voice actor still felt a little stilted and weird. It was much better than like the 3 lines that we had.
It's funny because like she got a lot of flack for that, and then they do a DLC
and it's all her.
I know it's from the original game, but it's kind of funny, you know.
And I'll give him credit. Like she sounded much better throughout like the full campaign when you're hearing her the whole time. But like it's just a few like kind of weird stilted lines. Yeah, but she's a babe and I love her. She's great. Ada.
Spoilers. I hear it sets up 5.
I guess it does, yeah, because all the West. I don't know how this leads in at all, but like,
have you played 5?
No.
Okay.
We talked about it a little bit on another podcast one time.
I was playing it. Yeah.
So I know it's like in Africa, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like Wesker's trying to do some shit.
If we can kill a bunch of Spaniards.
No,
we can kill a bunch of African people.
Weren't we talking about like how like
that's the issue? There was controversy that you're killing black infected people.
Well, but I thought, but it was like the way they described the infecting though was like the weird thing, like how they got infected. I thought it wasn't necessarily that it was just like you're killing Africans, like it was like the way they described the infection that they get was like weird. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a version of it.
It is just that.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
Like so, it connects. I mean, I'm saying it's Las Plagas isn't that weird or isn't that like spoilerish? Yeah. But is like somebody took it out of like that place to weaponize it and sell it off. Like that's kind of Wesker.
Yeah, yes.
That's what he does. That's the whole point.
Billions. Yeah. He's really
complete and total global saturation.
I'm sure, not slight spoiler here, but you get a nice laser wall 2 scene, which is fun.
Yeah, because that was in RE4, and it's a reference to Apocalypse, the second movie.
Yep. So thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't recommend it enough. We already talked about Cyberpunk as well. There was a third. I just watched Shazam: Fury of the Gods today.
Yeah,
it was fun. I can see there were parts I really enjoyed, but like. I do think it starts to lose its magic when he becomes an 18-year-old man turning into a 30-year-old man.
Right.
Instead of like a 12-year-old.
We were just saying that, like Asher.
He's Asher Edgar. I can't remember.
I just want to call him Asher Roth.
Yeah.
Asher Roth, not Asher Roth. He just aged out of it too quickly.
And I mean, you need a young actor for that role, and I'm sure they'll recast it in the new DCU at some point if that keeps going and keeps and does what it hopefully should do. But I enjoyed it. I thought what's his name's actually really good in it. The kid who plays Freddy. I feel like he kind of carried it.
Yeah. He is kind of more of a focus on this one.
And he's just a good actor. There's one part you can see
Rachel
a lot of
Ziegler in this?
Yeah, it's
that is her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one scene where he's like getting whispered to by Lucy Liu, and he's like having it's almost like he's like demonically possessed or whatever, and he plays it like really well. Like I was surprised at how like
it's so
not
funny.
silly
I like totally forgot about that movie.
Yeah, Helen Mirren's fine. Again, it was fun, but like, is it enough for me to like recommend to someone? Probably not. No. And again, The Rock fucked that whole thing up. I'm sorry. Like, I will die on that hill. The first movie should have been him fighting Black Adam as a 12-year-old boy in a 35-year-old man's body. And then the next movie, this movie, could have honestly been pretty similar, but you didn't introduce the Shazam family in this one. Either way, I thought it was fun. It's free on Netflix right now. You know, it's tracking number 5 on Netflix right now.
Give me a hint.
What's a good hint here? Jared Leto.
Morbius.
No. DC.
Suicide Squad.
Not the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad
is number 5 right now. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
David Ayer's coming out with a new movie with Statham. It's called Beekeeper.
That actually looks. That's him. I didn't realize that was
him.
I saw the trailer for it. It looks pretty cool.
You know, and speaking of that, David Ayer was on John Bernthal's podcast.
Right.
I got to listen to that because me and Casey Wellman, friend of the show, were talking about Real Ones yesterday, and I'm like, David Ayer was on that. I'm like, fuck, it's like a 2-hour episode. Like, I'm like, I gotta hear it because I would love to see the Ayer cut, but we know. That's
well, it's fun. I just see people like he said something the other day on Twitter, like,
he
leave James Gunn alone, like something. Everyone under him's like, shut the fuck up, Dave. Like the
we won your movie. You shut up.
Shut the fuck up. He's the loop. Like, I'm like, all right, guys, calm down. Jesus Christ. Anywho, that's really all I've been up to. We'll talk more about Cyberpunk when we get to it.
So let's get into the Game Awards. Yeah. We'll get into the winners. We'll give our opinions. We'll get into the announcements, and then we'll talk about the show. I think this.
Should we break it up? How the Game Awards broke it up? About like 20 minutes for awards, and then an hour and a half for announcements.
No, we shouldn't do that. First up, I don't think I've ever included this award, but maybe I'm wrong. I just don't remember it. Player's Choice, which isn't in, like, you can't vote for it in the normal voting. It's 100% fan voted. Mm-hmm. So it got down to Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Genshin Impact, Spider-Man 2, and Tears of the Kingdom. Baldur's Gate 3 won Player's Choice. So now I'm going to blitz through esports really quick because I'm going to mention every award, but we're not necessarily going to talk about it. Best esports event was League of Legends World Championship. Best esports coach was Potter.
Classic Potter.
Best esports team, JD Gaming for League of Legends. Best esports athlete, Faker. Best esports game, Valorant. Content creator of the year, Iron Mouse. That VTuber thing was weird.
What's VTuber?
VTuber is
I feel like I've heard the term, but
did you not remember when this like digital avatar of like a person came up?
Right.
VTubing is like essentially where you like have like
an avatar.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on screen.
I think it is strange for how people do it with like who's on our podcast who actually did it well. Crichton Herald, she had like a VTuber avatar, but I liked hers. Everyone else's is just weirdly anime and sexualized. I'm like, this is strange.
Just huge tits and asses.
Yeah, I'm like, this is just weird.
Or just the biggest muscles.
Or they're like
on Earth,
furries. I'm like, I just don't get it. I shout out to Herald. She actually like does it.
Hey, you know what?
Well. I actually like how she does it.
And do you? But it's definitely more. It's not.
It's a weird thing to like. We're gonna put you up on like the Game Awards screen, and you're gonna like have like a little acceptance like video. It's like.
Yeah, it was
like,
interesting.
Yeah, obviously for somebody who's anonymous, they're not going to show up to the Game Awards.
Sure.
And like, I guess
I get the anonymity behind that. Is actually I like the idea of that on paper, where like people don't know who you are, so you can go out and be a normal person if you're very like famous. But yeah,
did you listen to Dustin Furman, friend of the show, talk about his experience in Japan?
A little bit on one of the podcasts.
So him and his wife went to like a cafe where they were like watching a VTuber, and he was like scared.
Right.
Like the way they were like getting into it, I'm like, dude.
I do remember him talking about that.
I can only fucking imagine.
They were like waiting for their favorite VTuber to come
on. Right,
and
they were all like, it's just a bunch of guys. I'm like, this is a bunch of guys in a cafe, and I'm like, dude, I would be like, what?
That's my VTuber girlfriend. Anyways, so was that it otherwise?
Yeah. Just like the Game Awards, we just ran through those awards.
Yeah.
Let's talk about most anticipated game. We had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. Our poll voted for Hades 2 to win it. The actual winner was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
That caught me by surprise. I am slightly intrigued to play the first Final Fantasy VII remake.
So... Yeah, why? Tell me.
I will say, I just feel like I've been seeing it pop up a lot more recently on gameplay, and I played the demo, of course. I thought it was interesting.
For both 7 and 16,
yes.
ironically, which is just funny to bring up.
And 7, yeah, I don't know. I was like, it's intriguing to me, but I wasn't ready to pay full price for it. I think now that maybe I could get it for maybe a cheaper buy.
And there's a PS5 version.
And there's a PS5 version, and I have some free time on my hands now. I don't know. It's on my list. That, and actually, Final Fantasy 16 is actually a little bit above it. Because again, it didn't it wasn't a thing where I played that demo and I hated it, or I was like, I don't get this at all. It was just like, this isn't like grabbing me like I'd want to be grabbed to pay $75 or $70 for it. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We got a trailer for it too. I'm really excited for it. Yeah. It makes sense. I think it just has it's coming out at the end of February. Sure. Like it's like right around the corner. So there's a reason to be hyped for it. Whereas like Outlaws is so far out, and some of those other games are just kind of like
that makes complete sense.
Not in the rear view mirror, or not in the front view. What?
When is Outlaws even coming out?
I don't know, dude. You're getting pissed about games getting announced in their awards. We don't know when the fuck that's coming out either.
But they announced that with gameplay. Okay. And like that was a full on like I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2025.
Yeah, I'm curious actually. But continue, sorry.
Next up, best multiplayer: Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Baldur's Gate 3 took it home, and we voted that Baldur's Gate 3 would take it home. You know, it's just funny. This is such a different type of multiplayer award, you know?
I would love to actually try to do one.
I haven't done it either.
Like I think like if we actually like we do with D&D, we schedule a night for it.
It's hard enough to schedule D&D.
No, I know. Well, that's what I mean. I think it would have to be our D&D campaign for a bit if we wanted to do it like that. Truly, like we'd set aside Friday nights.
Well, we play like
and play Baldur's
hours.
Gate like for 4 hours or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. That would be cool. But we already have actual D&D going on right now. So
yeah, it's hard enough to get to that. We're playing next week though, hopefully. Best sports and racing. One of our omitted esport. Wow. I don't know how many award titles I'm gonna butcher or like fuck up mid, so I'm sorry. EA Sports FC 24, that's FIFA now.
Oh, right.
F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, and The Crew Motorfest. Forza Motorsport took that one home. That's a win for Xbox, baby.
Take it home.
Best Sim and Strategy Game: Advanced Wars 1 and 2, Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 was the winner.
There we go.
Go Nintendo.
Go Nintendo.
Best Family Game. I know we got this. Let me go find this.
You mean the Nintendo category?
This was the first award that was given out.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine. Mm-hmm. Doug Bowser actually accepted this award.
Is Bowser named after him? Is that what?
His last name happens to be Bowser.
I was like that line because it was so funny.
So he's the new Reggie.
That's what I thought.
He's the president of Nintendo America.
It was hilarious because like Ian was watching with me, my roommate. He's like, Bowser, is that like name? I'm like, I don't think so, but I don't know enough about Nintendo to say that.
That would be very
I was like,
funny.
He didn't look that old. So.
You think that was like one of the reasons why they hired him?
Well, that's Ian was joking.
His name is Bowser.
All right, well, he's top tier.
Whole trig.
Yeah.
Our nominees were Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and our winner, and the one we also predicted, Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yeah. I think that's on my list too, actually. Maybe
Wonder?
Use my Switch. Yeah.
Yeah, break it out. I mean, we uncovered the dust to play Mario Kart last weekend.
Yeah, that's right. We had the first
a literal week ago.
The first ever DNN Mario Kart tournament.
Are you gonna try to do that more?
I would love to.
Like every year.
Yeah. I lost it like a moron because I got distracted because someone asked a question about Starfield. But it's okay.
You did fucking
I had a
blow
total ADD moment. I don't know why. Like I thought I was at the end. I don't know what my brain thought. Like I guess I thought
and they were just erasing and like Sean was like trio. And so you're like,
and I was number 12. No. Yeah. Either way, fun stuff. But yeah, Wonder on the list for sure.
Next up, best fighting game, which we omitted: God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and our winner, Street Fighter 6.
Not much to say on
that. Have you ever played Street Fighter?
Probably like when we were younger in high school, maybe once or twice.
Like with Brian.
But like no. Besides that, I really can't think. Shout out, absolutely. But I mean, really, we played Marvel vs. Capcom there most of the time.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I'm gonna take you on a wild ride. Put me in there, Capcom.
Bringing me back. Oh my god. But yeah, I don't know. Street Fighter 6. That makes sense to me because I feel like I was hearing a bit of grumblings about Mortal Kombat.
You know what's funny? Now that I've marinated with MK1, I think it's still like it's good, it's fine. Something about the staying power of fighting games maybe I'm just not the audience for the staying power.
Well, I think so. I think that's. I mean,
you know, I'm not like I go online and I fuck around, but I find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Out.
That's the problem with those games for me. I mean, we've talked about it 1,000 times. We're good enough to like really go at each other and probably shit on people who don't play video games.
Right, like we were saying. Because I would love to host a fighting game tournament, but when like you invite people who don't play and you have like 2 or 3 people who do, like you know who's gonna win.
Yeah, it's not even it's not even fun.
It's not fun.
Yeah, so it's tough stuff.
Best RPG, I mean, do I even need to say it? Starfield, Sea of Stars, Lies of P, Final Fantasy 16, and of course, Baldur's Gate 3 is our winner, as we also predicted. So we're doing pretty good here.
I mean, the
good
Baldur's
job,
Gate
DNN.
stuff, yeah, we're kicking ass. I just had no doubts in my mind about the Baldur's Gate sweep here, but
I actually don't agree that Baldur's Gate swept.
Okay,
it really did not.
Like,
it won a lot of it won the most awards.
It won almost every category it was in.
No, it didn't.
It really didn't?
Alan Wake 3 won 3 mega awards. Game direction, art direction, narrative.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Those are big awards.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
And it won, you know, spoilers, it won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't think it swept exactly.
Sure.
It won a lot. But it didn't win everything.
I guess the reason I feel like it swept me because it won the categories that I was fully expecting it to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, narrative makes total sense, and we'll talk about with who won that. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it swept in that way to me.
Best action adventure game: Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Jedi Survivor, and Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom's only win for the night.
I was kind of surprised, actually, that it was the
one.
And
we predicted that as well.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
I would have liked to see Jedi take that one. It is funny how, like, I'm sorry, Spider-Man, you didn't even enter my mind for most of these.
Spider-Man was nominated for 7 and won 0. Yeah. But like we talked about, the sequel thing.
It is. And
I think the sequel thing.
Did God of War 2 win anything at all?
Ragnarok?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ragnarok won
something, yeah.
Yeah.
But sorry, continue.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to say that I think this was the award, Tears of the Kingdom. Like, this was my vote for them.
Makes sense.
Like, I thought they were going to win this, and it makes sense that they did, but I don't think everything else kind of makes sense. Like, this is the award they needed to win, and that was it. Like, I don't think they were going to win Game of the Year for the exact reason that Spider-Man 2 wasn't going to win Game of the Year because it was a sequel.
Did you see that one guy getting just flayed online for like he like tweeted the thing?
Dude, how does Spider-Man not win Game of the Year in the opening? I'm like, dude. I was like, what? I literally responded to that tweet. What?
Everyone under it was just like, he proceeds to then show a cinematic like after, like, because it didn't win Game of the Year again. Spider-Man 2 is a fantastically fun game, and I can't recommend it enough. But like, it doesn't spice it up.
This one I was surprised at. Maybe not. Right. Well, I want to hear what you think. Best action game: Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. Our winner, and the one we also predicted, Armored Core 6.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Armored Core 6 just didn't make the smash.
For sure. I think it's definitely more niche. That's the problem, especially like, even compared
Hi-Fi Rush took like 2 awards home, I'm pretty sure. Which was
sound design, which again it should have.
Right, yeah. We were talking about that. It was like it was nice to see the award that they actually deserved to win.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I think that makes the most sense to me. I think, you know, that when that was announced, people were like, "This looks great," and if you're into these games, definitely pick it up. That's on my short list, honestly, of games that I'd love to give a shot to. But yeah, I don't know. It just, from the gameplay perspective, it's as actiony as an action game can get. You know what I mean? And it's apparently awesome. So
yeah, and again, not a narrative focused. It is a gameplay focused game, so it makes sense. This was one we didn't include in our listing. Best VR AR game: Gran Turismo 7, Humanity, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Synapse. Resident Evil Village took that home.
Easy. Dude, the only reason I would even sort of consider getting a PSVR is to play RE8 and RE4 in VR, but then I promptly throw it away.
Like we were talking about our Discord, I don't think VR 2 is worth it right now.
No, it's not at all. It's a whole other console on top of your other $500
and there's not
console.
enough out for it, and it's been out for a year, and it's like, okay, you got your launch games, and your VR 1 games aren't backwards compatible, so what's the fucking point?
It was a very weird launch that I feel like they were almost like, well, we already started it, so let's just get it out.
It's funny that the Portal seems to be doing better than the VR2.
Yeah, well,
isn't that weird?
I actually don't think so. I feel like that kind of makes more sense to me in the climate with which we're in right now. Like, I feel like the handheld stuff is pretty hot at the moment with the backbones and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean hot in a derogatory way. Like, I think it's for a good reason because we're getting to that point.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, for technology can do that. And even like, dude, the iPhone, it is pretty wild that you can play Resident Evil 4 Remake on the new iPhone. Like fully.
I mean,
why would you want to do
Death Stranding is on fucking Apple Arcade.
Yeah,
or going to be. That's insane.
It's wild that it's really getting that small to where I can play this on my handheld fucking phone. But yeah, VR, man. Until it gets to the point where I can just throw my glasses on, and that's VR. It's gonna be tough because nothing's ever gonna. I mean, we said this before. Nothing's ever gonna be as easy as me picking up my controller. Sitting on my couch, and playing the game. With VR, I gotta fucking take everything out of the room, put my headset on, calibrate it, and then get into it. And that's in the best situation with like the Quest.
There's a lot of overhead.
Yeah, and even like I said, with the Quest, there's like little to none, as little as you can get. Yeah. But that's still enough to be.
You saw your Quest, right?
I did. Yeah, I got $180 for it, which isn't too bad. I paid $250. So
would you like sell on Marketplace?
Yeah, I sold on Facebook Marketplace. Dude, they are expensive right now. So they went up like $100 last year, I remember. Yeah, really? They increased their prices.
Why?
You don't remember that? I feel like we talked about it in Discord. It was just, I think, because inflation and stuff, they just,
Interesting.
I think, their 250 gig one now is now $500, and the lower one is like $350, $400.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Next up, we have Best Mobile Game, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Honkai Star Rail, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. Honkai Star Rail taking it home. Hoyoverse. I think that's the Genshin Impact guys.
Oh, I that's a name like I hear all the time. I couldn't tell you what that game is.
You know what gacha is? It's like it's a Japanese like gambling machine.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a microtransaction game.
Got it.
Both of them are. Best debut indie: Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder. Cocoon won that. That was actually on stage.
Gotcha.
And independent was not, which was weird. Which is up next. Best independent game: Cocoon. Again, you would think because it's in this award, you think Cocoon would win, but it didn't. Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. Sea of Stars won this award, which is a Square Enix sort of like a Chrono Trigger like RPG, which I definitely want to play. So this is on my list.
Have you seen Viewfinder at all? Have you ever
No.
seen?
Do you know
what it is at all?
You?
Yeah, I've seen gameplay. It's actually kind of interesting. It's like a puzzle game.
Okay.
Where you use like pictures in your environment and you have to align it. And then like you can it creates the environment so that you literally it's hard to explain.
Okay.
Look up some gameplay on it.
Okay.
It looks very interesting. I'd love to give it a shot.
So we were
Dustin, I think, actually talked about it on the Sacred Symbols once.
Oh, okay.
That's what put it on my radar.
So we were talking about Dave the Diver on the predictions, right? Yeah.
That's like not really an indie game, but they have it in the indie category.
Right. I feel like that was like the first controversy of the Game Awards, and I feel like once the award show, like that kind of like lit the fire. Like there was a lot of fire going on before the show. And then a lot of fire came after it. But I think this award show was still good. I really liked, not the awards part of it. That was actually probably the worst part. But like the rest of the show seemed like pretty tight in a way. And we'll get to it when we talk about the awards fuller.
Little sizzle, I fully disagree. I think
you always disagree.
I think last year, I think these last like 2 years, I got to go back and look. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I think we've been much more simpatico. I think this one truly is the worst, like, the toughest one to get through I've been like that we've watched in a couple years. I always walk out going, of course that it's short, that it's too long.
It was the same time it was last year. It was the exact same time.
But they,
despite it not an 8-minute speech from Chris Judge.
That's what I mean. But also, despite them condensing all these awards, which we'll talk about, like, I don't know. It just felt very poorly paced. We'll get into it later though, like you said.
Next up, we have Best Community Support. Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. We definitely have to talk about No Man's Sky later.
Yeah.
Not in a No Man's Sky capacity. We voted that Baldur's Gate 3 would take it home, and what do you know, folks? It took it home. Makes sense, you know?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
It was in, I think like we were saying with the in the predictions that it was in beta for a while, and I think that doing that and them getting the community feedback they need really made it polished and ready to go.
Absolutely.
To be the zeitgeist game of the year for this year. And also, did you know? You know what's funny? The president, when Lyon's president went up to accept his award,
he was supposed to announce the Xbox version.
Yeah. So it's on everything now.
Yeah, it is.
So we can play it on everything.
That sucks. I feel bad. He's probably like, "Fuck, I completely forgot." Yeah, like you're caught up in the moment. One of my favorite.
But like, what if he didn't win?
Then then they just announce it separately,
which is what they still did.
Yeah, and it's just he's probably like, "Fuck, damn it," like But we didn't get to best actor yet, right?
No.
Okay.
We're on ongoing. Best ongoing game nominations: Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. We voted that 70. I don't know why I need to say 2077. Like, I'll just say Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah. We voted that Cyberpunk 2077 would win the award, and it did. So we played Phantom Liberty. So we've now gotten, well, you did before, but I didn't. Yeah. So we've now have gotten probably a fuller taste of what current Cyberpunk 2077 is. And I do think it deserves the award. It has come far. That's the point of the game, ongoing. Where the game has come from, as where it started and where it is now, is an 180-degree turn.
I think this award is stupid in general. I'm just going to say that outright. I don't know if this is like when you tell me ongoing game, I don't think of a single player RPG.
I would in most normal circumstances agree.
That's
with
what
you.
I mean. And don't get me wrong. Like, yes, has this been better? Has this been an ongoing game technically? And have they drastically improved it in a lot of respects? Yes. The driving is like night and day, Gooch. It really feels very nice now. The gunplay's fun. The stealth feels great. The fucking hand-to-hand even feels way better. It's a complete game. It's what the game should have been when it launched. So I don't think it deserves an award for being what it should have been at launch.
Yeah, so that's I think that's a brutally honest.
And I say that with all my love in my heart for that game that I really enjoy, and I would wholeheartedly recommend you play at this point because it's what the game should have been.
Yeah,
they put it out way too early.
The Ultimate Edition is out. You have the complete package. Like,
yes, and you can buy it. You can buy it physically on the disc, and I'm gonna buy it soon because I want to have that. Everything's on that new Phantom Liberty disc.
You know what's funny? Maybe I should say I'll save it. Right. Make sure if I don't remember Alan Wake, bring it up.
Okay, yeah. So
we didn't talk about it during the review.
Absolutely.
We know what I'm gonna say.
I feel like if you're talking about the discless thing, I feel like we kind of talked about it a little. Or no,
we didn't. We didn't.
You're right,
because it's such a good game that we just forgot
about it. But yeah, I don't know. I think on principle, I don't like that they got this. Truly.
Okay.
I also like. I
think that's a fair critique. I
still do have a bit of a.
Me and Trio, I love how we don't always agree with things.
Absolutely,
it does work out, but like very naturally so.
Of course, and I don't know. I think it's like the thing that really sours me the most on the whole Cyberpunk thing is how they blatantly and fully knowingly lied about the last gen versions. I will take it to my grave that if they released that game only on current gen consoles at that time, the media cycle would have been completely night and day different. Sure, there would have been issues. I'm not saying that there wouldn't have been problems people had with the game, but it really was kind of nasty and shitty. And you know what? It worked for them. They sold tons of copies, and a bunch of people got a broken game that they could barely play, and that does frustrate me. And I was one of those until I got a Series X, and it was like playing a different game. Either way, that's my diatribe.
Next up, Games for Impact. Nominees: A Spacebound. Wow.
It's okay. We're getting there.
If I ever hosted the Game Awards, I feel like I'd be like.
You would have had practice. You would have rehearsed.
I would have rehearsed.
Yeah.
I'll save it. I was gonna say something about Sidney Goodman, but I'm gonna save it. Okay. Games for Impact. Our nominees: A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sonar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Terra Nil, and Venba. Chia won this game, and Shuhei Yoshida came up from out of the darkness to accept this award, who's a face of Sony who's been on the back burner for a while, but
now that Crying Ryan's gone. No.
Well,
is he still there right now?
Shuhei?
No, Jim Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till March.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's putting out fires currently.
Sure.
But Bungie.
Yep.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Innovation and accessibility. We have Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. The winner, Forza Motorsport.
Fantastic. I'm sorry.
Another win.
What was the award?
Innovation in accessibility.
Right.
Another win for Xbox. Got to get it in when we can.
Xbox. We should have a board here, like a whiteboard.
Yeah. PlayStation, like one actually. They got the innovation accessibility. Yeah. That was a PlayStation game. Next up, best performance. We predicted that Neil Newbon as Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3 would take it home. Let's find out if he did. Ben Starr was nominated for Clive for Final Fantasy 16. Cameron Monaghan from Cal Kestis for Jedi Survivor. Idris Elba for Solomon Reed for Phantom Liberty. Melanie Libbard for Saga Anderson in Alan Wake 2. Neil Newbon for Astarion for Baldur's Gate 3. And Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Neil Newbon took it home. Yeah. And he had it's funny, I don't dislike Astarion, but he's not my favorite character. I just find it interesting that he was the pick out of all the Baldur's Gate 3 characters.
In my opinion, I
do like him.
Oh, absolutely. It makes sense to me because I feel like I saw him everywhere during that game.
I mean, he is one of the biggest characters on the front of the cover.
So, and I just felt like even TikToks or whatever, Instagram Reels and just Twitter and stuff, he was everywhere. And I don't know, his acceptance speech was great. I felt like he was genuinely taken aback and was kind of half not expecting it.
Ben Starr was like, I don't know if there was a video back of him just fucking big clap because I think they worked on Warframe together.
That's awesome.
They know, I mean, that voice actor community is a pretty small community. For sure, they all pretty much know each other.
But no, I think that one makes complete and total sense, and his acceptance made me feel good because you could tell he was just genuinely blown away and excited about it.
Yeah, love it. Best audio design nominees: Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4. We predicted this incorrectly. This was our Dead Space vote. But Hi-Fi Rush won.
It makes sense. Yeah, it's funny, that game is mostly sound design. So, come on. Let's and it works incredibly well. That's another game I should play. I started playing it when it came out, and I just never got back around to it.
It's funny. I think I'm gonna rush Dragon's Dogma to the beginning of my pile. I want to play the first one before 2 comes out in March. I don't know if I
saw some gameplay for that today. It looks wild. Is it just an RPG? What?
So,
is it like a Baldur's Gate style?
You may want to ping Andre in Discord for him to have to explain it to you.
All right.
It's an RPG where you have pawns and they're really highly intelligent AI companion characters. The game is known for this AI system that the pawns run under, and the pawns can be your friends' characters and stuff. It's a fantasy game, and you and it kind of has this Shadow of the Colossus, Monster Hunter thing where you kind of climb up big beasts and stab them. Action game RPG, but I don't really know much beyond that.
All right, cool.
Again, Andre's your guy.
I saw some sorcerer gameplay today and it looked wild, so I was like, this looks pretty cool.
I chose to not watch. They had a event for it, and I was just I'm not gonna watch it because I want to play it, but I want to play the first one first.
Right.
It's been one of those games that's been on my list for a while. Next up, we have score and music. Nominated for Alan Wake 2, Petri Alenko, Baldur's Gate 3, Borislav Slavov, Final Fantasy 16, Masayoshi Soken, Hi-Fi Rush, Shuichi Kobori, and Tears of the Kingdom, composed by, of course, the Nintendo sound team.
Right.
We voted that the Nintendo sound team would take it over for the Tears of the Kingdom, and I thought that was a good prediction.
Yeah.
I didn't vote that, but I agreed. But my vote got it. Soken for FF16. Final Fantasy 16's only win for the night. Good. Fine.
You'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's, again, a category they deserved. And they actually, we'll talk about it, but they released the first DLC, Shadow dropped it.
Right. That's right.
Which is cool. It's 2 to 3 hours long, but it's kind of I like it. It's like the prologue to the rest of the DLC because they're going to do multiple.
That makes sense. It costs money or is it free?
The DLC, it's part of the,
assume so,
part of the pass. The pass is $25.
Oh, it's not bad.
Because I think when we reviewed it, there was no plans for DLC.
Right.
So,
and
then they're doing it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Now let's get into the big boys. Art direction. We already said it. Alan Wake 2 took it home.
Right.
Hi-Fi Rush was also a nominee. Lies of P, Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom.
Again, I would have loved to see Atomic Heart on that list.
I'll bring you herald of time. Okay.
Gooch has been practicing since.
I would love to learn that. Like, I'm not.
You definitely could set aside the time. I'm sure that there
I've
is
never learned. Have you ever
online.
learned to dance?
Yeah, I took a dancing class in college. Actually, I had to learn.
I would actually I dance, and anyone who's been to a wedding with me would know this. I dance a lot at weddings, and I think I'm pretty good, and I've got a lot of compliments that I'm a good dancer. But I would love to actually professionally.
Yeah, we learned how to salsa, we learned how to ballroom dance, and we learned how to. Oh, what's the word? I can't remember.
For a minute, I was like, "Why are we talking about that?"
Yeah, because we're talking about the Herald of Darkness.
Yeah. I was like, "Hey, what?
Yeah.
How did we get this?"
Yeah.
So we had a tie with our predictions: Lies of P and Hi-Fi Rush.
Wow.
I am sure I voted Alan Wake 2 for this. If I recall correctly.
I'm sorry, I'm already blank. Who won? Art direction was Alan Wake?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This award was not on stage. That's strange.
That's wild.
This is like the big five.
Yeah, that's wild.
And we'll get to the rushing of awards, but not on stage, so we didn't get Sam Lake. But Sam Lake comes up with the best narrative for Alan Wake 2, and it went against Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk's 2077 Phantom Liberty, FF16, and Spider-Man 2. This was one of the first.
Spider-Man 2 isn't
best narrative. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. That makes more sense. I don't know why I'm getting confused right now. I thought we were still on.
No, sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
I'm moving at a clip, and you're like.
I'm like my brain's still kind of speeding up from last night. I apologize. Continue.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I gotta find best narrative. There we go. We did predict that Baldur's Gate 3 would win this. I voted for Alan Wake 2, so I'm glad I was right.
I'm glad this took this one. It makes sense to me.
I really. This year, I really I don't think I've ever seen a dev kind of take the awards for me, but I think this was Sam Lake's night.
Sure. In what way?
I think he won a lot of awards that he definitely and Remedy won a lot of awards they definitely deserved, and I think what he had to say both times he was on stage was very moving. He was talking about the narrative, and it's this was risky. This was a big project, and it took your understanding and your want to embrace it to like it, and I'm happy you did that, and that was his point.
Well,
and
they couldn't get funding for it for a while, right after the first one came out.
I don't know.
Because I saw someone tweet. It was 10 years ago. Sam Lake was apologizing to fans because they couldn't finance an Alan Wake 2. And now he's getting an award or something like that.
3 of them.
So yeah,
and he's performing on stage.
Yeah, he was eating it up there. You
dude, he was so happy. You could it just I love seeing that. We'll talk about the musical performances, but I was just this is so cool.
It was fun.
I love the song and the act, but just seeing them all kind of have a really good time with it. It's just very funny. But yeah. This was Sam Lake's night. I'm really happy for him. I'm glad he got.
It was well deserved.
He got
and
a lot
Remedy
of attention
as a team, as a whole.
Of course.
They do a phenomenal job. I trust them wholly right now. They are at a top tier developer status for me.
And it really felt like his kind of Kojima moment where his authorship was stamped solidified. Yeah. He is on an echelon of his own.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's cool stuff.
Moving on. Best adaptation. We had Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, Super Mario Bros. The movie, and Twisted Metal. We anticipated it, and it won, of course, The Last of Us. I was really surprised Neil Druckmann had very little to say when he accepted that award. Maybe it's because
he knew everyone was trying to get off stage too. Maybe he just knew he was only gonna have a certain amount of time.
Maybe. So, you know how there was a bunch of Israel, Palestine.
Oh, did he post something about it?
So but he has posted about that how Last of Us 2 is inspired by that conflict. So I
thought I did see something he posted in support of someone.
I'm sure he's Jewish.
Yeah. Well, I disagree with that. Not
that he's Jewish and that he should post about
therefore
it.
Therefore he is on one side or another.
No, that wasn't what I was saying. Yeah. Just the fact that he would post about it because,
in general. Yeah. But.
And he was, he lived in Israel for a time.
Oh, so that makes sense. I didn't know that. That makes total sense.
I was just kind of surprised. And again, Last of Us
Part 2
is inspired by that conflict, but this isn't Last of Us Part 2. So I was just kind of surprised about how little he said, and then he was just like, "Yes, yeah." But again, he he made The Last of Us, but he didn't like. If Craig Mazin was up there with him, I think that would have made more sense.
Yeah,
because like he's the one who did the show part of it. You know,
it's I don't know that whole thing again. I love Last of Us and it should have won, but that game is a blueprint for a show already. Give me like and it's a great show, and I'm happy that they did it and that they killed it. But yeah, good for them. Fine.
Best game direction: Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom. We had a tie for our predictions between Alan Wake and Baldur's Gate 3, and Alan Wake 2 brought that home. Sam Lake accepted this award as well. He was on stage for that with, I think, his co-writer. And again, just some profound things to say. I think the big thing was that, that his team, like, a few hundred people, like, really came together on this vision. And he was talking about it as like, like my team did this and like, look what we made. We made this great piece of art. And like, we need more of that in the world where like people see one vision and are coming together. And I'm like, Sam Lake, dude, what a man.
No, I mean, I
love them.
They had an idea from the beginning. They executed it in an amazing way, and they figured it out. And
they were all drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, so I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, hey, like, we both have jobs, we both work.
Sure.
If some people aren't on board with shit, it can really derail things.
Of course. If you're on a team that it's not working simpatico, absolutely. Yeah. It can fuck the whole thing up.
Yeah, and that I think that is like what he's saying. Like that is game direction. It's your team being able to execute these things.
A vision.
A vision. Exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And our final award of the night, of course, that is Game of the Year.
Here it is.
Here are our nominees: Alan Wake 2. Cute gameplay trailer. Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Our winner. And our prediction, of course, Baldur's Gate 3 by Larian Studios. Who saw it coming? We all did.
I mean, I felt like there was some doubt in our Discord. I don't know who it was from. I can't remember. I won't call you out specifically. But it might have been even Gooch. Who knows? No, I knew this. Wasn't. I was so confident in this from the beginning. I didn't have a doubt in my mind. It makes complete and utter sense. The way that they treated that game, built upon from beta to launch, and executed, again, a vision that they had from the beginning and built it from the ground up. I mean, obviously not from the ground up. They already have the engine and such, but
no, but like
it's looked pretty different from their last game, right? Like fidelity wise, and like was their last game Baldur's Gate 2, or was it?
No, they did not make Baldur's Gate 2.
Oh, they didn't. Okay,
no,
they just got the license to do Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Their last game,
isn't it on their launcher too? Isn't it like I feel like I've seen it like when I think
Wizards of the Coast made Baldur's Gate 2. Let me look at their last game. I don't want to say it's Divinity Original Sin 2. I don't think it is. It is Divinity Original Sin 2.
Huh.
Okay. So, yeah, they did. So they have the last 3 major games they did was Divinity Original Sin, Divinity Original Sin 2, and then Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
And I actually played, they had a game called, it was a strategy game called Divinity Dragon Commander. I actually played that game.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah. You played as like a literal dragon commander in the Divinity world. And then obviously like so the games before them are all Divinity related games. So it's like a D&D like world.
Got it.
So that was kind of like
they're kind of almost like
entry into
they're like, look what we can do.
Getting the IP.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's cool. Makes sense though. I'm all for it.
Right, like as we talked about, Baldur's Gate 3 just took the world by storm, pierced the zeitgeist. We'll say it 1,000 times. It just deserved it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I don't think it's like when we say that. Of course, there's like things like Fortnite that even your grandma knows about. This is definitely pierced more of the gaming zeitgeist, where like it was everywhere that games were being talked about. It felt like,
and I'm sure a lot of people have gotten into D&D because of this.
Absolutely,
as well,
I'm absolutely confident. Yeah, and that is really cool to see. What a great character editor. What just an interesting world. I need to get back into it. I'm
finally on Act 3.
It just does. I know I say it 1,000 times. It just does suck that I just can't. It's tough for me to jive with the gameplay for some reason. I don't know what it is. Either way, what are we on next, Scooch?
Announcements time. Right. We had a lot of them. We're not going to go over all of them.
Yeah.
We're going to go over the big ones. What'd you think of the Brothers remake, Tales of Two Sons?
That looked pretty good.
Joseph Fares's first game.
Okay, I was wondering what that was. It looked interesting. I do remember it, actually. So that's a good sign to begin with. But yeah, I found it very cartoony and looking and interestingly designed. I would definitely love to check it out. Not much else to say right there.
Do you know about the original World of Goo?
No.
Okay, because that's getting a sequel.
Was that like with the ink blobs?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did. It looked familiar.
I feel like most people know that game. I'm kind of skipping through a lot.
No, it's okay.
I was just curious if you had any opinion about that.
It looks fun. I actually definitely did play the original because I remembered that vaguely, like building the bridges with all of them and stuff.
Yeah, Metaphor ReFantazio got another trailer. I think it got its first trailer at the Game Awards last year, and it's by Atlas, the Persona devs. Looks cool. Those Persona games. And Persona 3 Reloaded, it's a remake of Persona 3, got a trailer as well. They look great. It's just like, they're so on my backlog, like deep in there.
And they're so time intensive by themselves too,
yeah,
right?
It's like Yakuza. Like, I would love to play Yakuza, but it's just such a commitment to like do it for me. Exactly. I mean, there's like 7 of those games too. Not even from like a completion standpoint. From just to play them. Getting through it. So we have Matthew McConaughey come on stage. Very surprising.
It was really cool.
And he's in a game, and it's called Exodus.
And he's invested into the studio too, right? Wasn't that the whole idea? Or did he... I thought that's what he mentioned. I don't know. I could be wrong.
He invested his money.
I think so, because they came to him with it. I think he invested money at least into the game as well. But it looks like very interstellar-y.
What's funny is the write-up. Now the Game Awards begins, and suddenly Matthew McConaughey is on stage. Like exactly how I said it. Yeah, so he's announcing this is the first game he's ever worked with. A punchy cinematic trailer filled with lots of explosions, gorgeous lighting, and concerned-looking faces. This Mass Effect-esque third-person shooter looks like it'll tell an emotional story around a struggle against an alien race known as the Celestials, and the effects of time dilation going into interstellar while moving at light speed. Nice use of Supermassive's black hole there, too. I don't know what that means.
Huh. Nice maybe it's an engine or something.
Yeah, maybe it's an engine. I don't know. He wasn't in the trailer though.
I thought you hear him. I thought you do hear his character,
but you don't see him.
I think it might just be him in a helmet. Okay. At one point, I think you do see him, but he's in a spacesuit, so it's tough to notice. I definitely heard his voice in it for sure.
Maybe I missed it.
You might have.
I had to rewatch it. It looked cool.
I'm intrigued for sure.
You know what this reminds me of? Not a good reminder.
Okay.
Striking Distance with Callisto Protocol and what's that guy's name? Transformers guy.
Michael Bay? What?
The actor who plays the general in the Transformers movie. What's the actor? Who's in Callisto Protocol?
Oh yeah. John. Fuck. Josh Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel.
Yeah.
This reminds me of that for some reason. Just this like, hey, we're gonna get like the actor to go on stage and like present the game and like, here's the big actor.
Sure.
And then like Callisto was kind of shit.
See, this feels different to me in the way of like, because it did sound like he invested in the like company. So like, I think he's like, I'd love to look.
Can't be a bad thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't ring that way to me, but I can absolutely see that comparison, and it makes sense to me. I don't know. I want to see more from it. It looks very interstellar-y. It looks very Mass Effect-y. If it's a fun third-person story, narrative-driven game, I'm in. Fuck it, But we need to see more. It can't be a $150 million game that's 8 hours long, like the Callisto Protocol.
Yeah. The Untitled Goose Game devs are making a new game. It's called Big Walk. It's
I don't even know what's going on.
Just curious if you have anything to say.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean even just cut. No, yeah, it looks like I don't even know what's happening in it. Like what's going on?
I don't know. It's a puzzle game and it's quirky and that
sounds about
that
right.
Was Untitled Goose Game pretty much. Yeah. Do you have anything to say on the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown game?
I'm intrigued. I like the art direction a lot. Is it like 2D?
It is
2.5D or whatever.
Yeah. But all intents and purposes, 2D.
Yeah, 2D. I'm somewhat intrigued. I like the old games a lot, so I would give it a shot. Maybe if it's a reasonable price.
Yeah. Are you a Prince of Persia fan? Am I mistaking that?
I played the old ones. I played the most recent one, but I wasn't like
you didn't play that like early 360 reboot.
No, I did.
Oh,
that was like one of them I played. Yeah. So,
but did you play like the originals like on PS2?
I think so. I played them over like my friend's house. It wasn't like something I had it.
I did too. Mom wouldn't let that in the house.
No way.
It was Emily.
But yeah, I could be drawn in. I don't think at full price, but hey. It's out soon, right, Ish?
Yeah, January, I think. Yeah, and I think that's like the third time we've seen that.
Third time we've seen something. I wonder when we'll get to that.
We're about to. Because Senua Saga Hellblade 2 was shown next. We got another fucking trailer for it.
This seemed a lot more gameplay heavy, though, right?
Just give us this fucking game already.
I'm
really tired of seeing it at the Game Awards.
Exactly.
This is the fourth time we've seen it. Fourth in a row. We saw it debut with Xbox. Remember they showed that trailer?
Yeah.
Then we saw it again, and it was gameplay. Then we saw the cinematic last year. And now this year, we got another gameplay trailer. It's 2024. If that gets delayed out of this year, I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Right? Yeah.
It's just 2024. And apparently it had that date before the Game Awards.
Xbox. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Get some organization going. Anyways.
Speaking of
It looks good. It looks good, I will
Komori, the debut title of Unseen Incorporated, which is founded by the former Ghostwire Tokyo dev, Ikumi Nakamura, who I fucking despise.
This isn't the Rockstar dev one? And everything?
What?
There's like one that, or like, there's one that's like a studio of like ex Rockstar and
this is the Japanese woman.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
Ikumi Nakamura didn't key to that?
No, I don't know. Because they mentioned later they announced something with like the Rockstar devs. It's like with the girl with like the shield helmet that like saves a bunch of robot. No,
I know what you're talking about. Not that.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, Nakamura is famous. She worked on what's that game? Amaterasu is the character's name. The game with the wolf and the paintbrush.
Game with the wolf and a paintbrush.
I gotta look it up. Amaterasu. Okami. She worked on Okami. She did the art for Ikumi, and that's how she's known. But if you don't remember, I think it was a 2018 E3. She came up on stage to debut Ghostwire Tokyo, and she was really quirky and spooky, and she became a meme.
Yeah.
And that's how she became famous.
Okay, yeah.
And she left the team and didn't ship the game. So, and then she went and founded her own studio, went MIA for like 3 years, and they showed her game, which is a cinematic trailer of nothing, in my opinion. It's like a ninja game. They're like sliding down walls and jumping everywhere. And it's like,
who cares?
Okay, I still don't get why you're hot shit. You have shown nothing.
You don't have anything
You've shown nothing. I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't like, and she's up on stage like making all like, again, like being Japanese and being like more quirky than Kojima is. And I'm like, what is going on? Nobody finds you funny. I don't find you funny.
Yeah, it just
you haven't proven yourself at all.
Yeah.
You left a team and that game sucked.
Yeah. She was the lead.
Who are you?
Yeah. Like,
she was like an art director.
Yeah, it's like why is she getting time on the Game Awards? Because she's quirky and funny or like weird. Like I think that's genuinely why.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't care. I don't mind that Jeff did it. I just don't like her. Show me your good game. Like, get your meme status.
You should not like Jeff for that, though, a little bit. That should be like, Jeff, why are you bringing her up there? Like, what is she doing?
Because I think people are interested to see what she's doing. Not me, but some people.
Like, but I don't know.
Just like you don't like Kojima shit, somebody likes her.
But like I think Kojima and her aren't even comparable.
No, they're not.
Like in the way of like, I don't know. I'm willing to give Kojima that time because guess what? I did like that weird fucking game Death Stranding. But like with her, I don't even know. I just know her as this weird, quirky little weirdo.
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised
Joseph Fares didn't debut the Brothers remake. By the way.
Oh yeah, that
maybe. I mean, well,
I don't know.
No, that was excuse me. It was 2 years ago that It Takes Two won Game of the Year.
Gotcha.
So it makes sense that he wasn't there, or maybe his team didn't come out. You know, just no point just to debut it. Like, just show the trailer, Jeff. Just show the trailer.
Just show the trailer.
So we got an announcement of sorts that SEGA is remastering a bunch of their old games. Crazy Taxi, Shinobi, Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe.
That's pretty wild.
Does that do anything for you? It doesn't really do much for me.
I would. I mean, not a ton. I mean,
but somebody's jerking off.
Crazy,
that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure that
somebody's having a field day.
I mean, hey man, if it comes out and Crazy Taxi's $15 or something for the remaster, yeah, I'll pick that up. Fuck yeah, that game's so much fun. There's a lot that I would. Did they own Simpsons? Did they do Hit and Run?
I don't Did they?
I don't know.
I think you're just confusing it because it's like Crazy Taxi.
Somewhat like Crazy Taxi, yeah.
I love the sacred symbols joke. Take me to Raytheon. Take me to Raytheon.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else, honestly, on that. I'm somewhat intrigued, but, you know.
But do you have anything to say on Dragon Ball Sparking Zero?
Is it another fighting game?
I don't know.
It looks interesting. I really loved I enjoyed Kakarot a lot, but that was more story-driven.
It's the latest entry in the Budokai Tenchichi series of 3D fighting games, yeah. So we're getting back to basics, so it is a fighting game.
All right.
What a title. Yeah. Sparking !0.
Sparking Zero.
Visions of Mana, which is the first new Mana game in 15 years. That's another RPG series from Square.
Oh, shit.
You know, like classic RPGs coming back. Looking forward to it. I played one Mana game on the PS2, Dawn of Mana.
Yeah.
And I think they've ported some of the original Mana games, but this one looks awesome for me.
Fantastic.
And I'm excited for that. And speaking of being excited, let's take it off. Let's talk.
You just got some gooch.
Let's talk about Kojima and OD. It's finally released, and Trio, boy, did are you feeling it or no?
I could feel nothing more.
Oh my god!
It was a bunch of actors acting.
Yeah, for the most part.
I mean, that was it. What else was in it? Was there was like gameplay, I think, in Eyes, but they're talking about
I don't think there's gameplay.
Well, I mean, you could see like reflections off of what's her name's eye and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool. They gave Kojima 10 minutes to do this or whatever, 6 minutes, and that's fine. I don't know. And then you had, Jordan Peele come out and him kind of jerk each other off. So, like, I don't know.
Jordan Peele definitely jerked Kojima off.
Especially with all the rushing people off stage and everything, it did not feel like in good taste, truthfully, in my opinion.
We've known about OD for a little bit. Yeah. It leaked. I don't know if OD stands for, assuming it stands for overdose. But this is Kojima's horror game. This is his next horror game.
But it's not a game, I thought he says. He says it's like a mixture between a movie and a game.
It's a game.
He keeps saying it's something new,
Aki Saito literally said, it's a game. Don't get me wrong.
But he said it's something different than after that.
It's a medium.
I don't want no game movies here. No. Stop.
It's a game. He literally said it's a game on stage.
I heard him. I need to watch it again.
So
I don't need to watch it now. I believe you.
Here's the explanation.
Yeah.
From their website. A Hideo Kojima game, OD, explores the concept of testing your fear threshold and what it means to OD on fear while blurring the boundaries of gaming and film. What that means, who knows?
Sure.
But if anyone can do it, Kojima can. And I trust the man's vision. I trust whatever he's going to do. I'm in. I'm ready. I'm excited.
That.
So it's funny because the door they walked out and the door you see in the character's eyes is the door from PT.
Yeah.
Which is obviously done on purpose.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'm curious, okay, like what does that mean? Does that mean anything? Or are we just taking shots at Konami where we can? Are we just being
I'd assume he's not legally allowed to do that.
I assume he's not legally allowed to do it either.
Yeah, like you can parody or whatever. And
I assume he wouldn't do that. Japanese are very
litigious.
Maybe litigious, but like they're culturally different. They're not he's not gonna go on Twitter and shit on Konami.
Of course,
he's just not gonna do that.
Sure.
But so during the trailer we see. So we have 3 actors in this game. Sophie Lillis, who's in D&D. She was the tiefling, and she's in It.
Yep. And
you've seen It. I don't know what character she plays in It.
Yeah, she plays the girl. Yeah. Sadie or whatever her name is.
Yeah, sure. So Hunter Schafer, who's in the new Hunger Games and Euphoria, and she's also in a dub for a movie called Belle. It's an anime movie. She's like the new blood. So Sophia is like the mid-ground. And Udo Kier, who I don't know, is like in a lot of movies. But I don't really know too much about him. I think he's in like his film bracket might be a little too high tier for me.
Sure.
You know,
a little out there for you, yeah.
But okay, so the sentence they all say the sentence during the trailer, and it's the hungry purple dinosaur ate the kind zingy fox, the jabbering crab, and the mad whale, and started vending and quacking. It kind of sounds like you know what like lorem ipsum is, like filler text. The quick brown fox jumped over like the brown fence or whatever. Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
But I was kind of thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, like when I first heard that, I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, what are they saying? It sounds like gibberish. I dove in a little bit, and I was like, okay, there's animals here that have been in other Kojima games. The dinosaur's not one of them.
Right.
The fox, foxhound, fox unit, the fox engine was the engine they used at Konami. So big MGS references there. The crab is a big animal in Death Stranding. We see a ton of crabs in it, whether in the trailers or in games. They're floating up. They're pregnant. We just see a lot of crabs, and they're jabbering. I was thinking in the terms of like the jabbering. I'm like, is it because Kojima got sort of fresh, sort of talky at his last years at Konami, started getting a little bit off the leash, and that kind of bit him in the ass, and that's why it got eaten by the purple dinosaur, which is Konami, maybe.
Can I be honest with you here really quick? This is the reason why I hate him sometimes. Like this stuff, because he always puts this shit out just to do this, just to get people going like this, and like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
So he's talking about like, again, like all these references. I'm like,
okay. This is not him. This is
everyone reading into it. Yeah.
Yes.
But again, he's doing that on purpose because we know everyone will, which is fine, and everyone likes to do it. I don't want to hate. I really enjoyed Death Stranding, but like, yeah, I don't know.
And the whale.
Yeah.
It's in Death Stranding.
Absolutely.
We fight whales.
There's many of them.
The
beach whale thing, I feel like is something you see a lot.
I was going to say cessation stranding. That's the term, I think. When animals strand themselves.
Right.
We see a lot of whales there. There's a whale in MGS5, a bunch of Moby Dick references, the flaming whale that eats Psycho Mantis in the beginning, but like again, like your Moby Dick and your, Pequod and Ahab and like all that. So interesting animals to use. And then they use the term zingy, which means energetic. So I'm like, was Kojima... I kind of thought like the mad jabbering and singing were like different points in like Kojima's emotional spectrum while he was at Konami, and how like they kind of like quelled that a little bit. Like, oh, he got too talky. No. He got too energetic about things. No. He got mad.
I wonder if he's really sitting there thinking about all this, or he's just like, I'm gonna make what I want to make, and I'm weird and zany, and people like what I make.
But
so like I don't know.
I do understand the fact that he did show us nothing. It's a lot of like sniffing.
I'm trying to remember
farts.
what exactly, and I guess like that's why like again, and I think he is an auteur, and I think he does some really amazing stuff. And listen, by all accounts, I should not like Death Stranding, but it works, I enjoyed it.
What did you think I was doing when I got up? By the way, to take my jacket off.
I thought you were taking out your shirt. Yeah, I thought you were gonna get shirtless maybe for a second, but
no,
you kept.
I'm not
off.
Greg Miller. I don't get shirtless on camera and then stay there.
But I don't know. It does feel a bit fart smelly, like you said. That's a great way to put it.
I'm fine with admitting that. I think if you're a Kojima fan and you're not willing to admit we sniff Kojima's farts, you're not a Kojima fan.
I appreciate that. And listen, I'm sure it's going to be really interesting and scary as fuck. PT is one of the scariest things I've ever played. So I want to see it.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because the description of OD, I think, is really, really, really on point with what PT was.
Yeah.
Especially with my experience. PT is one of, you just said.
And even the PT, OD, Sorry,
it's one of the scariest games I've ever played.
For sure.
And I don't really like horror movies. And that usually just comes from like when I was a kid. I wasn't into horror.
It is funny because you will play some horror games for
sure. Yeah. But I don't watch. I don't really watch horror movies. That being said, I want to watch PT. I just want it. Like, even though I was scared, and like sometimes like the Outer Haven guys, Three Dog, they stream it, and it was like late at night. I'm like, I'm fucking terrified.
Yeah, dude.
But I want it. I want more. Well, I want to OD on fear. Like and I like it so much. I'm like, dude, I know exactly what he's saying.
There's something about the scary games. No, it's true.
I'm like, I'm like,
it's the description sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
The trailer, what's happening? That's the only problem.
And I think leaning into Kojima, I think he just likes to fuck with people and be like, you have no idea what this is. This is so out of context. It's not going to make any sense. The Death Stranding teaser, the first one, it makes sense. It's in the game.
Well, now
once you have the context for it.
Well, and I'm sure that these people are like it seems like they're mocapping at the moment, or like, but then I'm like, is it like
so that
film and stuff?
I don't think that's them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not mocap.
No, I'm saying, but it seems like they're almost in a mocapping. They're being filmed in a mocap session.
Yes,
almost or something like that.
Because like you could see like what looks like the cameras like in their eyes,
but you can also see like scenes reflected in their eyes.
Yeah, the door, the PT door opens in I think it's Sophia's eyes at the end. You can see it open, and obviously they both come out of that door. There's one other thing I wanted to mention. Xbox. That's a big deal. Xbox is the publisher of this.
Yeah. So we'll be exclusive for a while.
So, and this is going to be using cloud technology. We learned that from the game showcase, I think in 2022, when this game was first revealed. Like, hey, we're partnering Kojima, and his game is going to be using our cloud technology, which is the Azure cloud. And I'm curious what else, besides that, is Xbox offering something else to him? Like, what...
I think he kind of wants to spread like out himself.
I agree, but like, what is Xbox giving him that others are not? I think
maybe it is the cloud stuff.
I think that's the question to ask, because it's interesting that he would and it's cool that he's developing such two different kind of games.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's what I really like. It's like he's not double downing on like a big AAA game.
I mean,
this is probably going to be big AAA.
No,
but
for sure, but in a different way. I mean, in the way Death Stranding was.
It's testing waters. They're going to do something different, and hopefully they're going to make a splash in those waters.
Listen, I give him credit, like I said before 1,000 times. I think he can make some great stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be great. I do just hate the fart smelling. That's it.
What do they smell like, do you think?
They smell a little like...
Are we like
old,
like rice or like sushi?
Is that racist? A little bit.
But they're Japanese. They eat sushi. It's not racist.
No, I mean, well, just saying that's most likely what they're eating. Like, they could be eating pizza. Like, maybe it smells like pizza.
Do you think Kojima's having a slice?
I think he has a slice.
What do you think Kojima likes on his pizza?
Sushi. No,
I think Kojima is probably like a peppers and sausage kind of guy.
I could see that. I could see him being like polar opposite of what his personality is and just get a plain. He's like,
I would respect it. I'd shake his hand and be like, good man.
Yeah, good stuff. Can't go wrong. But okay, I'm interested, Gooch.
Do you have anything to say about Jurassic Park Survival?
Is it like a horror? It looks somewhat interesting to me. It looks like a survival type horror game. Listen, man, I think that those types of games really work well. I think Alien was the first one to really do it because it makes total sense. And hey, man,
so this is a horror survival game, and it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, you're trying to survive a night at Jurassic Park. I think that could be cool. Absolutely. Because you can't fucking hurt any dinosaurs. That made me. I don't know why that caught me off guard.
Well, I'm just backing up, so it's not as loud.
It's fading out.
So it's funny.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. It could be very cool.
Black Myth Wukong. We got another trailer for this. This was like the Wukong monkey guy.
Right.
And we saw a lot of like... So the idea is it's based off of like Japanese fantasy from like the 1500s about like going west and stuff. Like, that's really cool. Penza was really into this game, I think. Let me see what it says. Plethora of wonderfully designed characters and creatures, including gigantic spider. In appalling fashion. This game doesn't give a single solitary shit about arachnophobes. Apparently, because my God, that was horrifying. That's pretty funny. Jesus. That's what the person had to say. Yeah, but all these like, yokai creatures. I'm not really into
the one with the guns and stuff. Too?
Yeah, there was a samurai.
It looks cool. Or is that a different one? Because again, there's a lot
Rise of the Ronin.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. What's up with all these games with the samurais recently?
I feel like especially in the last like 5 to 6, like I feel like Ghost of Tsushima was the beginning, and then it just like I feel like it's everywhere now. I don't know. It just seems like a popular time setting. Does well.
Excuse me.
No problem.
You probably heard that through Trio's mic. I just muted mine, but it's getting a little.
The phlegm gets there sometimes. What are you gonna
do? The actor of Bayek was on stage. He was the black gentleman in that cool cape garb I really liked. He debuted a game called Tales of Kenzera Zoo, which looked pretty cool.
Very Black Panther-y.
Yeah. It's exactly what it reminded me of. And it's a dedication to his dad, which is really cool. Comes out April 23rd, 2024. I just thought it was cool because I'm like, oh, he's like, and he's in some like actually like big movies.
He was in what's it called? I think he was in Loki, or was something that we saw recently.
No,
I can't. Not like as a main part or anything, but like
he's I'm like, if you want to look him up real quick, but yeah, so it's steeped in Batu culture about a young shaman who makes a bargain with the god of death in order to bring back a loved one. This does look pretty cool. I don't know. It
didn't really honestly do much for me.
I think like the actor kind of like getting up there and kind of being a little shell shocked, or he's dev too.
Abu Bakr Salim is his name.
Yeah.
And what was I looking at?
You got his IMDb.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Game of Thrones. Or House of the Dragon.
Yeah. But he was Bayek, which is cool.
Yeah, and he was great. I love Bayek in that game. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Next up, I'm only bringing this up because I feel like this is not Deck 9. This is oh my god, Life is Strange devs. I don't remember their name.
No,
is it Deck 9? Google that for me real quick.
What am I Googling?
Life is Strange developer. But they're doing a game called Lost Records Bloom and Rage, and it looks like a Life is Strange game. Like, I'm like,
I thought it was a Life is Strange, honestly.
Because it's by those devs. And I'm just
Don't nod.
Don't nod, thank you. And I'm like, I just don't think they're going to be able to...
recapture.
Yeah.
I wasn't very interested, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm like, this looks kind of... Yeah. Okay. The first Berserker, Kazan. This was like a hack and slash game. I don't know if you remember off the top of your head.
Not really, to be honest.
Look kind of cool. The write-up is very small, but I thought that looked cool. Final Fantasy is getting an Apex Legends crossover, which honestly might get me back to playing Apex. I haven't been on Apex. I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a break from Apex. So I've just been playing it a lot. I think this might get me back. It's kind of cool. Different crossover for Apex. I know they did a Post Malone crossover.
I feel like Apex
recently
has really been the one that's like, it's still doing well, but it's avoided all of the like chicanery of like these like different like everything's crossing over with it, which truthfully I'll give Fortnite credit. I think that works for that now, and it's become its brand in the best possible way. Like that's almost becoming like, what's it called from what's the Steven Spielberg movie, Ready Player One? Like I feel like that, like it's the Oasis almost. You can just you're Spider-Man and fucking Peter Griffin together, so like it's hilarious. But I haven't played Apex in a long time. That was definitely my favorite of the battle royales.
When are we gonna play Halo?
I don't know. I haven't.
When are you gonna get on and invite your old pal Gooch to play?
I played Halo like a couple weeks ago and I haven't played since because I've been all over Cyberpunk now. I go in waves, Gooch, and it's maybe I'll get on and play like
your
once.
Waves. You're just a fucking lone wolf.
I'm on once or twice.
You're a lone wolf.
I am. I'm a bit of a lone wolf, and it's funny because you're the Red Wolf Crusader.
That I am. How do you feel about Skull and Bones?
Oh, that game that's has to come out because of like the whatever government. I can't remember this. This
February 16th. Coming soon.
Has a date. We'll see if it gets delayed again. I don't know. I don't really care. Honestly, at this point.
Neither do I.
No.
A game you definitely care about from Arkane Lyon. Blade.
I'm going to give you something, Gooch.
The seat's yours.
Yeah, I actually don't care about this, sadly, because it's too early. Why are they just started apparently working on this game?
Yeah,
literally.
They gave it a few minutes on stage, and we got some conversation,
and we got another one to talk about too with it, which was a weirdo mission.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, listen, I love Lyon. They did Deathloop, which I fucking loved, but it's like you're just starting to work on your new game now. What have you guys been doing? Because that's like they're.
You think they're supporting Redfall, or
they could have been? That actually would make sense. That's a fair point.
And they have been in a transition period. Think about it. Deathloop came out right when they were acquired by Xbox.
For sure.
Maybe they were like, hey, let's get our shit together, and then we'll start the game once our ducks in a row.
So listen, I don't think you could give that to a better developer. I'll say that.
Yeah,
and I think that it could be something.
Like, third person.
Oh, it is
third person.
Okay, I'll take it. That was different from what they've done before.
Because I'm like, Dishonored, Blade, hell yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I really think that does work.
Yeah, and I didn't play... You played Deathloop.
Yeah, I love Deathloop.
I don't know
it
if
was
I'll
a
ever
moment
play
to grow on me, but once I like really figured it out, I was like, oh, this game's so much fun. But yeah, man, I'm interested, but I'm like, why are we talking about this so early if you guys are just starting production on it? And then besides that, Gooch, where was that Xbox exclusivity tag? And by the way, when they were asked about it, because me and Penza were having a conversation about this in Discord, and he made very fair points that I 100% agree with.
Join the Discord.
Please do. And he was talking about how it's like, well, why wouldn't they say it? And I'm like, well, I feel like it's kind of a given at this point because they're owned by Xbox, and everything that has come out from Bethesda since they were bought has been an Xbox exclusive.
Do you think that has something to do with No, that wouldn't make sense. So it doesn't have anything to do with Marvel.
But then they were
Marvel has exclusives on PS4.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with Marvel. And then they were apparently followed up on it after with Bethesda, and they refused to comment on exclusivity. So now I think that can go one of two ways. One way is they're trying to avoid the scrutiny of like the what's it called board. Like I know they already passed their deal and everything and it's going through, but they don't want to talk about another exclusive that they're taking right now, or it's not going to be exclusive. Which is like, why did you buy that company if it's not going to be exclusive? Especially with a new product. I get that Blade is an established IP, but I'm sorry, it would be well within their rights at this point to be like, no, Blade's, especially with Spider-Man.
And Wolverine. Do we know Wolverine's exclusive?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's what's it called? It's
Insomniac, right?
Yeah. So
yeah. True.
Yeah, but again, that's what I would assume about Arkane Lyon. But right now,
I as anyone who listens to this podcast knows, Trio has much different opinions than I do with early looks like this. Like I kind of don't care as much as you do. So I am excited for this. I am really excited to see what this is going to be. Blade and Midnight Sun was great. We have Blade coming up in the MCU supposedly. Wesley Snipes as Blade is a pretty iconic character. More of Blade wouldn't hurt.
I agree. Listen, I think you couldn't have picked a more perfect character for Arkane to get, especially. So in that respect, I am excited. But again, it's just with these early looks. Like we aren't seeing this game till 2026.
We'll see it next year, Game War.
No, I know, but like we're not going to play this until 2027 at the earliest. I'm gonna bet right now that is when this game will come out. Especially if they're just starting to work on it. But I digress.
Where do you think you're going to be in 2027?
I don't want to talk about it. Let's go. Right. I just turned 28. I don't like it.
Last Sentinel, which you brought up earlier. This was your game with the protagonist that was kind of Blade Runner-y.
Yeah. These are ex-Rockstar and what's it called devs. Who's the other one? But continue, sorry.
Yeah, so the protagonist is Hiromi Shota, mows down a battalion of said menacing robots with an alternate sci-fi Tokyo and saves a group of children along the robotic caretaker. It's a fairly by-the-numbers cinematic trailer, but it does look good. Yeah, I would agree. And who's this right up by? We got Rock, Paper, Shotgun. I gotta go all the way to
What's the name of the game again?
Last Sentinel. This is a write-up by Ollie Toms from Rock, Paper, Shotgun. Appreciate it, because I did look through a lot of wrap-ups, and yours was in order, and I really appreciated that, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow, there's not even like a Wikipedia page for it yet.
Yeah, so it says, next up, Steve C. Martin of Lightspeed LA got on stage to announce their new open-world sci-fi game. Is that who were the dev?
I think so. Yeah, he was one of the... Yeah, I think he was an ex-Rockstar dev.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you care about Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2?
Not really.
That was there September 9th, 2024. Exoborn.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, we'll move on. Asgard's Wrath 2. That was that VR game with Matt Mercer's Loki.
Right.
This game is supposed to be like the VR game.
Huh.
Like it's
like besides what's it called, the Steam one, like almost like it's
like a Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
It seems like a really developed.
I will say it didn't
VR game.
It didn't look that. It looked pretty run of the mill to me VR wise. Like just watching the trailer, like nothing really stuck out to me. But I'd be curious.
Asgard's Wrath is a pretty big deal, being the free game that Meta will be giving out with every purchase of the Meta Quest 3. That's interesting.
Wild.
This is coming out on December 15th. All right. Sean Murray, your boy. Liar. Scandal.
Cretin.
Whatever word you want to call him.
Yeah.
On stage with Jeff.
Yeah.
As he was at the only VGX show in 2013 when he debuted No Man's Sky and, talked its game up and stroked its cock furiously. Talked about No Man's Sky, talked about,
pretty great trailer for it, like where it was going through all the updates and stuff. Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're premature here.
I apologize.
Premature.
Yeah.
talking about how far they've come with No Man's Sky. You've played that game. You know exactly what he's talking about. And now they finally show their new IP, Light No Fire, which is like a... All right, so a new game from the makers of No Man's Sky in a similarly ambitious procedural environment. The twist is that this time they're not generating a universe. Light No Fire is a multiplayer game that takes place on a single Earth-like planet generated at a scale where mountains can be taller than Everest. Sean Murray was as cagey as ever in terms of what you do in the game. The man hates verbs, but it seems to have a co-op building and pilotable dragons. So there's that. So this procedural multiplayer game almost kind of maybe reminds me of Minecraft in the terms of like one world. What do you think?
Seems like interesting. Listen, with what they've done with No Man's Sky and procedurally generating a universe, I don't really see any reason why they couldn't do that with like a specific like world. It's definitely ambitious. What you would exactly do in that game, I don't know. Even with No Man's Sky, I mean, there's a lot of like direction and like certain things you can do, but I don't know. A lot of that game ends up being mostly exploration, at least for me. It looks interesting. They've been working on it for 5 years. I think it could be something, new and cool, and I think it's definitely within the realm of what they've been doing. And yeah, No Man's Sky started out as a shit show, but it is a fantastic game now.
What do you think What do you think Light No Fire needs to do to like not be in the same situation as No Man's Sky?
Not overpromise. In my opinion.
Yeah,
just start there. Yeah. Just be like, what is this game? Oh, this is the game.
It's funny because I think Sean Murray even like struggled to do that.
Yeah,
like
he's like
you could see like
he was very
Ollie said in this write up, like he's like almost like not trying to describe it, but like wanting to describe it. And yeah, it's funny because like we haven't seen a lot of devs get into those situations, but you think of like a Peter Molyneux. I know we talked about him recently with like Fable and his overpromising of shit and like how he just like blatantly lied. Yeah. Did Sean Murray also blatantly lie?
I think a lot of the stuff that he promised ended up making it in after a long time, but from launch, they did lie. I think And listen, I'll give them credit. They did fix it, and it's a wonderful game now. But yeah, everyone's going to be, fool me once, shame on you and all that. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited, though.
I'm only bringing this up because Simu Liu came up on stage to talk about it. Stormgate. It's like an RTS game, but like, we were more focused on the fact that he was in a cast.
Yeah.
What did you think about, this isn't in the write-up, but I remember, what do you think about the Twisted Metal again in season 2?
Fine, great. I heard nothing but good things. I watched the first couple episodes, but then my Peacock subscription ran out, so I think we talked
about this at some point.
But yeah, from what I watched, it was fun. I feel like that IP could be very malleable, so you can really go anywhere.
And our final announcement of the night, we didn't go over all of them, folks, but if you're excited for something, and we didn't talk about it, let us know in the comments why you're excited. And while you're at it, leave us a review. Go to, if you're listening on podcast services, you're on Spotify, make sure go rate it on mobile.
Also, like and comment never hurts.
You hit the 3 buttons. Give us the 5 stars. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give us the 5 stars as well. Give us a little review, a little blurb. Why you like this podcast? Why you like us? Maybe what you don't like.
Give us the review you think we deserve. That's what I say.
Maybe give us the critique you think we deserve.
It would be nice. It would be nice for the 5-star, but if you don't think we deserve a 5-star, give us what you think we deserve.
Monster Hunter Wilds. So the next big Monster Hunter game is on the horizon.
It looks very Monster Hunter-y.
It does look very Monster Hunter-y. The mounts is new. Again, I think there's some people in our Discord who can talk about this better than we can.
Right.
I think this is this continues Capcom's trend of being good. Because if you don't remember, Monster Hunter World was like the progenitor of their good streak.
Especially with Resident Evil and all that. It's really
Dragon's Dogma is another Capcom game.
They've won back good graces and then some, for sure.
So that's it for our awards. Can I just close this and be dramatic?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's talk about the show.
Yeah.
Our last thing. And then we'll get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I'm getting hungry.
All right. Very controversial show this year. As we were saying, a lot of awards were sort of rushed through. And that is something that I know you have said you wanted. Hey, I wish Def would kind of get some of those awards and shotgun them through them just to speed us up, which he did, but it didn't speed us up.
Didn't speed us up. We were still at the same length of a show. And I don't know, like, it just felt incredibly poorly paced this year, genuinely. Like, I don't know.
I think the end is where pacing gets muddy. I wouldn't say I disliked it, but I do see your point.
Sure, yeah. I don't know. It's just like, oh, okay, we're doing announcement, music, award, announcement. Couple awards. All right, now we got these 3
announcement.
Yeah.
Music thing.
Yeah.
Announcement.
Big awards. All right. I don't know. It just felt incredibly weirdly paced. And like, I know you were saying like, Twitter hates everything and whatever, but like,
that they do.
I don't remember this type of backlash. And maybe that's a harsh word, but this type of, rebuttal last year.
I think there's always people who.
No, I agree. But
who critique Jeff and what he does. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's probably necessary for him to hear the worst and the best. And even the stuff in the middle.
Sure.
There's some truth in all of it. But
I think on the main, I don't know. I just don't remember hearing this type of kerfuffle about it last year from like regular people, like the people I follow.
Normies.
From just like the regular, like I think the reasonable like game creators that I follow. I don't know. It just felt like it was a lot louder this year, in my opinion, for sure. And I was seeing much more of it, and I agreed with a lot of it. Truly, like especially with the rushing people off stage and rushing through some of those awards. Again, you're right. I wanted them to condense some of these awards, but the idea of that was to then shorten the show, which they did not.
Yeah. It's funny. Like I watched it late, so I was kind of watching it after everyone was talking about it. They don't rush that many people off,
but you can tell
with Sam Lake's speech, he gets played over. With Neil Newbon's speech, he gets played over, and then it's good for a little while, and then at the end, it happens again.
You could tell people were feeling it. That's why everyone was up there like la 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 la.
And they have the timer was apparently like 30 seconds, and then it said please wrap it up.
Yeah.
And it's like Chris Judge ruined that for everybody. That's his fault.
No,
yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Why?
That's the show's fault. They need to plan that out better. They don't get to then overcorrect for it, and then it's Chris Judge's fault. He was given the time, and he was allowed to do that. They didn't play him off. He gave a long speech. Sure, he probably shouldn't have done that. But then they overcompensated.
I assume it's the same people doing that show.
I would assume
it's the same venue.
They overcompensated for it.
Yeah,
that's fair. I don't blame necessarily Chris Judge.
I think it's funny that Jeff makes jokes about it, and Chris was in on the joke, and they're having jokes, and then he makes a joke about the Call of Duty devs, which they didn't like apparently. It
sucks and it's short. Shut up.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But like, I do kind of be like, Chris Judge, why'd you take 8 minutes to do a speech? Maybe if it was 4, we'd have been fine. But like, you really went over, and I do think it's the catalyst for why that happened this year.
It's absolutely the catalyst, but then he can't be then blamed for how they respond. This is the Game Awards fault. I'm sorry. I don't put any judgment on Chris.
Jeff did come out and say like, hey, like I noticed that as well, and I had a voice. And you said you didn't believe that?
I don't.
Okay.
I really don't. I don't know.
Okay.
It feels like a bit of putting out fires a little bit, because that was something people were really complaining about. And again, I feel like it just set the tenor for it, because people were getting off stage because they knew they were like, thank you. I'm like, the one guy even goes like, they're gonna start playing me off here soon, so thank you, and bye-bye. Maybe he did genuinely notice that. I don't know. I don't think Jeff would maybe make that up, so maybe I take that back a little bit. It just seemed like a little bit damage control.
Going to your point, Jeff does spend a lot of time on Kojima. Obviously, some other devs have more time to talk about their game,
sure.
like Arkane Lyon did, and some other people up on stage who get a chance to talk about it, or maybe Jeff's talking about it with them. Definitely. He also gives time to I've said this before. I like how Jeff kind of inserts his own likes and personalities. The Muppets thing,
I agree.
The Gonzo bit. I think that stuff is important because other award shows do the exact same thing. I
agree.
You have a comedian as a host, and the comedian's going to roast some celebrities for 5 minutes.
I think my biggest critique for this one is it felt the least like an award show that any of these had in recent memory.
Yeah, I agree.
It felt like E3,
and I think next year Jeff will be like, all right, you're totally right.
Yeah. And I saw people talking about like maybe you break it up into 2 parts, like you start with awards, and then in the second block you do all the announcements.
I don't like that because I think it's too it separates the two, and they need to be together. It needs to be one thing.
I think you just need a good balance, genuinely. And it is funny because at the Oscars they're not showing trailers for new movies or anything.
No,
I
know.
I mean?
It's
So, and I do think that's what makes this different and fun, though. So,
yeah. Because a lot of people don't come for the awards; they come for announcements.
Absolutely,
I understand.
Especially now that E3 is like completely kaput. Even though for the last 3 or 4 years it already was.
It's so funny. It's like that component of it is actually probably more necessary than it's ever been.
100%. Yeah, because it's like, where else are you going for that? But I don't know. Those are my major ones. I definitely think this was my weakest one from him in the past couple years. Again, I got to go back and look at our reactions last year.
I think I think Jeff does a good job hosting every year.
I agree with that.
I think Sydney Goodman, and she's been doing the pre-show hosting for like a number of years now. This year, she seemed to really like was good. Some of her jokes, I don't know if she writes those or who writes those. Yeah. I'm assuming there's some like a team behind that, but they were kind of funny.
Oh, like I missed some of them.
Like she was like moving at a clip, like moving, like like not taking a lot of time or like laughing at her own joke. Like I don't know. I thought she did a really good job. She's ex-IGN now. She's doing her own thing, so that's cool to see like a face like hers in that show, especially as a mainstay.
Right.
The musical performances. This is the first year all of the musical performances were actually video game, like almost like 100% related.
Yeah.
We had the Hellblade, someone call them choir. Music team performed that little thing, which is fine. Yeah. We don't have a ton of context for that, so it's like, oh, Hellblade music.
It's just weird, like kind of Celtic.
Cool,
like,
it's a little bit of a performance and a show. Fine. And then, of course, we had the Heralds of Darkness being played by Old Gods of Asgard from Alan Wake 2. David Harewood.
Like we said,
Matthew
Sam
Peretta,
Lake was having the time of his life.
Alan Wake as Alan Wake up there. Sam Lake. Did you love that or did you love it?
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I was so into it.
No, I agree. It was
fucking fantastic. Yeah. Because I feel like some years it's like, hey, we'll like Churches is there because of Death Stranding, but we have Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
We just show up to like, oh, they're video game adjacent. They're now going to perform. Whereas then we have like Mick Gordon, who's like, well, he did this. He's playing the Doom soundtrack.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Doom.
And they had the Red Dead guy come in and do the Red Dead theme the 1 year too.
Yeah. Or maybe the Last of Us guy as well. I was actually just like very like, and there were only 2. Sometimes I think there have been 3. Maybe.
Well, wouldn't there have been 3 technically? Because
the Game Awards, they always do that.
Well, it was
the Game Awards.
It was the first thing with the
Lorne Balfe, the maestro.
Yeah.
What like orchestra?
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking for. The voting process. I guess it's always like every year. It's like we were talking about this more with the predictions. It's like, okay, like, well, why is Dave the Diver an indie? Do we need to combine some awards? Do we need to change criteria up? We're talking about ongoing and community support at one point.
Yeah, we really kind of got into that on the last one for sure.
Yeah, and I think there's always work to be done with tweaking the awards, and I think Jeff recognizes that. But it's kind of the question of like, okay, do I just decide it myself, or do we as an industry kind of have to establish like what is an indie game?
Yeah.
Because there's clearly a lot of definitions and from a lot of different people.
I mean, that's one of them, and especially and the other thing for me was just the RE4 like Game of the Year nom. That's such a joke to me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I agree.
Like,
and again, that's not Jeff's fault.
Yeah.
That is the committee. That's the people who the games.
You shouldn't be allowed to vote for it. Again, if it's a remake, I just think that they should make that a rule.
But again, it's like, okay, now we have to have discussion. What defines a remake?
Is it a 1-to-1 or are they taking
right?
It
is it a Final Fantasy VII remake or is it an RE4 remake? Right.
Yeah. Those again, I think there's a pretty solid line you can draw there pretty easily, in my opinion. But I don't know.
True. Yeah.
That's just my one biggest gripe for sure this year.
Yeah. I mean, and again, you always have a problem with the length of the show.
Sure.
But I think it was the same length it always been.
It just pissed me off more that we like we said, they crunched all those awards and yet we still.
And I really think the reason, like, I'm curious. Jeff will do a Q&A after this, or after in a week or so, like he always does. I'm curious if the amount of announcements he had forced him to do that. Yeah. Because it's like, hey, I have to it's great that all these devs want to showcase their game, and it sucks that I got to fit all that in and make it work.
But do you? You could cut some of those.
Is that a good move to make? I don't think so, man.
I think so. I just think you don't accept as many to begin with. That's my point. Yeah,
that's where different. It starts.
Yeah, cut's the wrong word.
I'm assuming Jeff probably puts out feelers to most devs and be like, "Hey, you have anything to show? Let me know."
Yeah.
Because he even says like, "We have a ton of stuff that gets cut last minute."
Sure. Yeah.
Like big stuff. GTA.
Oh yeah.
And actually, funny. Most of the predictions for games we thought we were going to see did not happen.
Yeah.
And GTA obviously happened a few days earlier, but not on the Game Awards day.
Called it.
If GTA was announced at the Game Awards, I think that would have totally usurped everything else, and it would have been bad.
Absolutely, but Jeff wanted them there for sure.
Oh, yeah. But
I'm confident he wanted, if he could have gotten there.
Rockstar is actually one of the companies that invests in the Game Awards.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And they always have. And he said that he's like, Rockstar's been with me since day one.
That's really cool. But again, the reason I was pretty confident it wasn't going to be there was just because Rockstar loves their own announcements. They really do. And I know they're different in some facets, but the way they do business really doesn't seem to have changed to me that much. So I was pretty confident we were going to get it, if not before, after. With like even like I was kind of half expecting like a Game Informer cover or like a Variety.
I think you'd still get the Game Informer cover.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's like the announcement or something like that, because I feel like that's like what they did for this big push.
I know they do it, and I know you've said that, but do they lead with the Game Informer cover? Or
Usually,
do they lead
I feel like
with the
they
trailer?
lead with a trailer and like an article in like a Variety or like a Deadline or something random.
Remember, different Rockstar.
I know, but that's what I was saying. But they haven't been doing business differently, so that's why they've been doing, story development differently, but they seem to be the same Rockstar in the way of secrecy and how they want to like put their stuff out there.
Do you think? I think I know the answer to the question.
No.
Did you like the announcements?
Overall? Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the most part, they were fun, but I don't think there was anything that blew me out of the water.
Yeah, and I think we have those on and off years. Like Death Stranding 2, I think was like OD, I think is actually less of a an exciting announcement.
I think Blade's the biggest announcement, personally.
Yeah. But like I think there's a lot of like I always try to look of like, okay, like what do we have, like just a bunch of like Sony first party games getting announced here, or is it like a variety? And it is a variety.
Definitely.
There's a ton of shit across the board that is going to appease to your RPG guy, or your Life is Strange dude, or your Genshin Impact person, or your GTA person, or your FPS person.
A wide swath, indeed.
Yeah, I think that's important, even though not everything speaks to me. And it's funny, like like going back through the trailers. Do you get overwhelmed watching these things sometimes, trying to like sink in information?
Oh, for sure.
Like,
I mean, dude, the GTA trailer.
Here's the next trailer.
I need to reconsume and reconsume. I mean, dude, a lot of these have blended together, to be honest. And I mean, I watched the GTA trailer probably 20 times already now, and like that's only a 90-second one. Yeah. But like, it definitely starts to blend together for sure. It's tough to kind of keep it all.
Yeah, and that's not even a gripe.
That's just the way it is.
That's even the pressers. It's like, I gotta go rewatch that trailer like 7 times.
Yeah.
What's funny? That write-up didn't have the Rise of the Ronin thing, but yeah, that would look cool.
It did. It was very feudal Japan-y, mixed with like guns and stuff.
Yeah, maybe that was one they missed.
It's pretty wild.
Come on, Ollie.
Come on, guys.
I trusted you.
Anything else, Gooch?
Trying to think. No, I like the show every year. I think it's clear even though maybe I'm not being as vocal about it, that the criticisms are clear.
Yeah.
The devs need time to talk.
Devs need time to talk. You need to give more time to certain awards.
More awards
for sure.
need to be on stage.
Yeah.
Best RPG, art direction. Those always have to be on stage. Yeah. The esports thing and the content creator, like I think they're
that
good.
Makes sense.
They're good with some of those smaller awards.
Absolutely.
Just listen them off. Best family game doesn't need to be on stage either. Like I think like. It was funny the games that they did include in the shotgun.
Right. It's very odd.
Like, but like it's all the ones that are in there are fine, but it's like what is art direction?
Exactly.
What is RPG doing in there?
How those get lost in the shuffle, yeah.
Do you think there's a way they could be like, I know this is tough, and maybe this is like spoilery. Okay, like Baldur's Gate comes up. Baldur's Gate 3, best RPG. And Baldur's Gate also has won X, like they do like 2 others.
I feel like you start running into that issue again of just like...
Well, you kind of just like... Well, now do they have to make 3 speeches? And like you kind of just like ruin the moment?
I feel like with that stuff, it's more... With award shows like that, the thing is usually you go up, give your first big speech. And then if you win more, like for the Oscar, they just be like, thank you. Like they don't need... They say thank you to the specific team that has to do with that.
Maybe it's the first award, they let them get that. And maybe the big 5, the game direction, the art direction, the narrative, the game of the year, and, maybe maybe some of the other ones, so maybe that's big 4, but like they have 5 that they all get their own speeches. But maybe like if you win best action and best audio design, maybe you do them 2 together. But again it's all dependent if the winners are the same.
I think there's some pretty clear ones that you can just not cut out, but read fast, and then other ones, it's those big 5s. Yeah, I don't know. Pacing's my big issue this year. It's just overall in general. So
yeah,
I don't know. What else to tell you, Jeff? I hope you figured it out. No, I'm kidding. I love you, Jeff. I actually do. Like I say every year, I despise award shows, but I enjoy this one.
Yeah.
So, listen.
And I appreciate that we that you watch it.
Absolutely.
And we'll be watching it live in this basement. December 12th, 2024. We will not be scheduling any sort of concerts or any sort of events.
Understood.
On that date.
We will make sure.
I will. This is to me. That's I have to do this. This has nothing to do with you.
Alrighty, Gooch. Anything else?
That's it, man. Lead us out.
Fantastic.
Take us home.
Well, thank you all if you've been with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really appreciate you being here. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your favorite podcast provider. You can find us on all the social media pages as well. Delco Nerds on basically everything. We got a Facebook page, Discord channel. All that good stuff will be linked down below. You can find all this information on our website, DelcoNerdNetwork.com as well. And you can even email us, DelcoNerds@gmail.com with your comments, questions, or concerns. We'd be happy to get back to you. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.